All right, good morning, traders. Today is September 17th, FOMC Day 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Appreciate all of you following me, liking me, being part of my group, subscribing to my content, sharing my content, leaving kind words, thumbs up, like, following my content. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content, helping get the good word out there to the rest of the world. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened today. Let's take a look at the pivot and everything. Oh, before we get started, got some announcements to make. All right, first announcement. Member e-learning. This is only for members. This is Thursday, a 3-hour session. Okay, I'll be in the room all day. So it's in the combo room. Going to get an hour from Doug, an hour from me, and an hour from Rick. My hour is 1 o'clock, but I will be in there from noon until Rick finishes his webinar. All right, so remember e-learning, that is tomorrow, September 18th, okay, in the combo room. Another announcement, Rick Sadler from Hit and Run Candlesticks is going to have a Road to Wealth workshop. It's going to be September 23rd. That would be a Tuesday, all right, and I will leave a link to the Road to Wealth. It's free to attend. You do have to register to get in, but if you scan this link right here with your smartphone, you'll get a pop-up. If you press the pop-up will take you, open up a web page to get registered to attend the Road to Wealth workshop. Okay, so that's Tuesday, September 23rd. I will leave a link in the description. If you check your emails for your credentials, because if they're not in your email, they're probably going to be in your spam folder after registering for the Road to Wealth workshop, okay, on Tuesday, September 23rd. All right, by Rick Sadler. Hit and Run Candlesticks. All right, let's pull up the, you know what, right here, okay. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, it's about the same, 660.20. Above it, I'm a bull, below it, I'm a bear. More consolidation, bull flag over to the right yesterday. SPY, GLD. This is the wrong one. This is the wrong one. Let's try this one here. Quick access. Let's try this one. All right, there we go. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 660.20. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY, GLD, FNGU, QQQ, all made new all-time highs yesterday. IWM and Diamond Dow made lower highs and lower lows, closing inside bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend. We like that. And a 10-minute downtrend, not so much. SLV made a new 13-year high. USO made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a downtrend, closed lower yesterday, much lower, around 96.63. SPY max pain is 658. That's for the puts and calls options that expire today. All right, with a put to call ratio of about 1.25 for each put that expires today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15, while the security options expire at 4. The main event this week is FOMC announcement. That's at 2 p.m. today. There'll be a 2:30 presser afterwards where Mr. Powell, chairman of the FOMC, will probably like to explain their decision on whether it's a quarter, a half, or none. All right, so we'll see what happens. Supposed to get a rate cut today. We'll see what happens. All right, so All right, let's go down and drill in here and see what's going on. All right. So SPY got, you can see right here, got a higher high, so new all-time high for SPY. Up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, and in an uptrend right there on SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ, new all-time high up there for QQQ, bullish, and in an uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, you can see new all-time high for FNGU, bullish, and in an uptrend. These are the daily candles from yesterday. Let's take a look at GLD. All right, bullish, and in an uptrend right up there. Okay, let's take a look at SLV. All right, SLV new 13-year high up there. Okay, that's bullish, and in an uptrend right there. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow put in a lower high, lower low, closing in the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, that's the quad lines. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at IWM. Lower high, lower low, closing in the bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA in the middle of quadrant 4. That's still bullish and in an uptrend for IWM. Let's take a look at SPY on the 2-hour chart. And let's drill it out here. Price action, we have a 2-hour uptrend right here. See if I can pull up a cleaner one. Nah, they don't get any better. All right, so bullish and in an uptrend up here, okay, on that 2-hour chart. Let's take a look at the 10-minute chart. And you can see on the 10-minute chart from yesterday, we left off with 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in a downtrend. So looking for continuation of that 10-minute downtrend, all right, for today on the SPY 10-minute chart. Looking for a continuation of the downtrend. So I'll be looking for a red candle, nothing with more tail than body and wick. So see this candle right here, more tail than body and wick. That's not gonna be the candle for me. Not gonna be a green candle because it's going in the wrong direction. All right, I don't want a doji and I don't want a spinning top because that shows me bulls and bears agree on where price is at. So I want a decent red candle, no bottoming tails. Okay, don't want those. Don't want any spinning tops. Don't want any dojis. And I certainly don't want any green candles because that's going in the wrong direction. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. That's my plan for this morning. In the pre-market, I will probably mark off in the pre-market the highs and the lows. So I'll take a line it up right there. That'll be the high. This will be the low. It's kind of a really wide range. All right, you can see right there. Trade the breakout of that range. More than likely, I will box off the first 15 minutes and trade the breakout of that range until it gets to either this location over here, gap fill, or maybe even this location up here. Okay, so there's SPY. That's the plan for this morning. Same thing on QQQ. Let's go back and take a look at SPY game plan. I'm going to take this off because we don't need that anymore. So let's take a peek at the game plan. Let's go back to this chart here. Let's pull up the game plan and you can see price action. All right, for the game plan for SPY, right here, pivot 660.20, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Green erases red entry up here over 660.75. Red erases green entry under 659.70. You can see we're already underneath that. So that's why I'd be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute downtrend for SPY. That's a 10-minute chart. Okay, so price action. Again, I like 10-minute trends, all right? I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I like the uptrends when they're breaking up and away from VWAP. In other words, I get separation from the 10-minute trap, all right? That would be the 3 and the 8, peeling away from VWAP. Same thing on the downtrends. I like 10-minute downtrends that are breaking down, and away from VWAP, where you see that 10-minute trap. That would be the 3 and the 8 on the 10-minute chart, peeling away from the brown line. That would be VWAP, okay? So that's what I like. All right, I like options. I like 2 days till expiration and 9 days till expiration Friday options. All right, I like those on the multiple of 5. All right, they have more open interest on Friday and they have more open interest on the multiple of 5. So I like 2 days till expiration and 9 days till expiration Friday options. I like strikes that are $2 to $15 out of the money. Again, I'm not opposed to trading in the money. I'm not opposed to trading 0 DTEs. All right. I'm just saying if you got a small account, you might want to think about taking on a little less risk and sacrifice some performance, at least until you get your footing down and you're confident in your trading. I think giving yourself more time, all right, and more space, all right. You're going to lose a little performance, but you will also lose some risk also, all right. So the more risk you have, the greater you have to lose. So let's talk about the in the money options. The in the money options are typically going to cost you much more than the out of the money options. Okay, and the reason is they're going to give you better performance. All right, so that's why I picked the out of the money options. I'm willing to give up a little bit of performance to take on a little less risk. Okay, so there's the SPY game plan. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ got a game plan as well. Let's pull that up. And QQQ game plan for today. All right, green erases red entry over 592.70. QQQ pivot 590.90. Okay, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green entry underneath 589.55. There's the QQQ game plan. Again, I like the same options. The 2 and the 9 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5. Strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. We like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. What is a 10-minute downtrend? A 10-minute downtrend is when the 3 EMA price is riding on top of the 3 EMA or lower. All right? The 3 EMA is underneath the 8 EMA. And hopefully the 8 EMA and the 3 EMA and price are all underneath the 17 EMA. And I like to see all of that underneath VWAP. Not necessarily the 17, but I prefer to see the 3, the 8, and the price action underneath VWAP. All right, so that's what I like. Now, I'm not against trading 10-minute uptrends that originate down here. Okay, long before they get to the green erases red entry. I just like to see them break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle for me to get long in those 10-minute uptrends that happen to manifest down here long before the green erases red entry. I'm not against trading 10-minute downtrends that manifest up here long before the red erases green entry. This goes for SPY as well. Okay, I just like to see it break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle on the downside, all right, for me to get in and get short on those, all right? So there's QQQ game plan, there's SPY game plan. Let's go take a look at our technicals for yesterday, see what happened with those. Slide this over, T2101. This is the market breadth again. You can see day by day we're losing more and more participation. Market breadth is getting weaker and weaker every day. I'm looking for the breadth to pop down into here and probably signal a reversal to the upside, all right? If we look down here in the past, take the 4-hour chart. Last time we had a reversal was right about there, was right after Valentine's Day earlier this year. All right, so there's T2101 market breadth. So in this upward movement, we're losing more and more breadth every single day here. If you look, almost every single day, okay? You can see the breadth gets lower. See the stairs? Moves over. It's almost like a string of stairs coming down. All right, let's go see T2122. We spent the day in the seller's chop zone. Not a nice place to be. I like to be on the bullish side, especially when the market's making new highs. But we spent the day in the seller's chop zone all day today. Again, that's that lower participation from where we are. We're all waiting for, probably, you guessed it, FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. today. All right, so this is T21.22. T21.23 showed us the same thing. Again, instead of making new all-time highs like it did the day before, price action kind of faded off here, kind of melting off down here, making lower lows. Here's a low. On the 15-minute chart, they made a lower low. On the 3-bar chart, they're not making lower lows. So on the 15-minute chart, because they made a lower low, price needs to make a higher high to negate that. So on the 15-minute chart, we're in a downtrend. We are still bullish. We're up here over the rising 200 SMA. That is bullish on T21.23 15-minute chart. Okay, so this is still bullish. It's just in a 15-minute downtrend. Good news is you can see price move up and hold the higher ground up here. Okay, that is a bullish stance. That's a bullish environment. Okay, very well could make some higher highs later on. Remember, FOMC comes out later today. All right, you could see price start to rip again. We'll see. That's T21.23 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. You can see in order for this to be in a downtrend, they'd have to take out these red candles way back here. Okay, so got a long ways to go to take out those red candles. So 3-bar chart still in an uptrend, still bullish at the top of quadrant 4 up here. Okay, see how bullish it is. So that's bullish and still in an uptrend. Okay, we'll be in an uptrend until we take out these lows, or we create a higher low and then take that higher low out. So here's the 3-bar chart up over 200 SMA, 15-minute chart up over the 200 SMA. FNGU yesterday made new all-time highs up here, okay, and moving up and holding the higher ground. I like the bullish stance here at the beginning of the day. Don't like the consolidation under the prior consolidation, all right? In other words, I don't like this morning's consolidation underneath yesterday's post-market consolidation. Not a big fan of that. But we are looking for a 10-minute downtrend to open up the day in the SPY and QQQ for maybe a pullback to this 200 SMA right there. Okay, this is bullish and in an uptrend on FNGU 15-minute chart. Okay, they did make lower lows. FNGU is in an uptrend on the daily. On the 15-minute, you can see they made lower lows in the pre-market. So that is a downtrend. All right. See, here's a low. They made a lower low, so that puts them into a 15-minute downtrend right there. And to negate that, they just have to come up here and take out that high. All right, and then they would have themselves a 15-minute uptrend, but still bullish up at the top, quadrant 4. That's bullish, holding the higher ground. Again, planking up here. That's a show of strength. That's like planking for 2 days straight. Okay, that's incredible strength showing up there by holding this higher ground up here. They could very easily go up and give it up, but they chose not to. That's strength up there, showing you them holding this high area up there on FNGU. All right, so that's it right there. Let's take a look at the let's go take a look at some of the other sectors here on daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG, and then we'll head off into the economic data. All right, here's UNG. All right, if they take out this red high right here, okay, they will negate the downtrend that they're currently in because they will have made a higher low and a higher high. Okay, currently they're in a downtrend until they take out that high. If they take out that high, my target would be the bottom of this tail right here on July 9th. All right, that's the valley between two peaks. All right, that would most likely be my target if they happen to take out this high over here, okay, and make a higher high. So there's UNG, currently in a downtrend, currently bearish in the middle of quadrant 1. Anything in the lower third of the quad lines for me is bearish. In the upper third, that's bullish. In between is just neutral. So there's UNG, bearish, currently in a downtrend but fighting it off. Take a look at USO. USO goes up, gives it up, goes up, gives it up. See how it goes up into quadrant 4, gives it up into quadrant 4, gives it up, goes up into the upper third, knocks on the door, and then gives it up. All right, so price action for USO is just neutral. Okay, again, it's not in the upper third. That would be anything above this line. It's not in the lower third. That would be anything below this line. Okay, so up here, okay, this area up here, this is bullish, and this area down here, okay, is bearish. All right, in the lower third. So lower third, bearish, upper third, bullish. In between, just neutral. All right, so that's USO. Let's take this off. All right, so there's USO. USO is in an uptrend because notice there's a peak right there. They made a higher high. So they're in an uptrend and they're just neutral. Maybe they could get up here and hold the higher ground for once. Okay, right now, they're just not ready. All right, so for me, I like to see them get up there, hold that higher ground, and prove that they got what it takes for me to be inspired to follow them. That's USO right now. All right, let's take a look at the economic package, and we'll take a look at that right here. Here's the dollar. Dollar's in a downtrend, currently in a bear flag. Made a pretty good sized move yesterday, as you can see, moving down to 96.63 area. Okay, so here's the last high. You can see here's the low. We made a lower low, so that puts us in a downtrend, and you can see prices move down and over to the right. So that's bearish. All right, it's a bear flag. Dollar's in a downtrend. We like it. As investors, we like it when the dollar's in a downtrend or the dollar is weak, because that opens up new markets. All right, for companies in the USA. Okay, so it's very well that today or tomorrow, dollar makes a lower low. See, here's the valley between the two peaks. All right, it'd be interesting to see if they make a new lower low here. So in the bear flag, they're having a breakdown right now. Let's see if they have a failed breakdown or they hit some follow through with that and break down even further. All right, so we'll see what happens. So dollar in a bear flag, dollar's in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at max pain for today is 658. Put to call ratio is 1.25 over here, and that's for the puts and calls that expire today. On the economic calendar today comes out, we've got NBA mortgage applications at 7, housing starts and permits 8:30, Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations 10 o'clock, petroleum report at 10:30, FOMC at 2, presser at 2:30. Tomorrow, jobless claims 8:30, Philly Fed manufacturing index 8:30, leading indicators 10, gas report at 10:30, and then Friday is quadruple witching, and we got a rig count at 1. All right, so that's it for the rest of the week here. As far as earnings go, all this week, just familiar names, but nothing here that's going to move the markets. That's it. All right, traders, that's it for me. I'll see you guys all at in about 45 minutes. I'll see you in the room, and we'll open up the market, probably record it. Again, be careful out there today. FOMC is probably going to give a rip or probably going to run the stops on the south side and probably rip to the upside. That's what I'm hoping for, is a run the stops on the south side and then rip to the upside. We'll see what happens. It very well could be the reverse. Well, all right? They could rip the stops on the upside and then shoot to the downside. So we'll see what happens. But it will be volatile at 2 p.m. today. All right? So cloudy skies and volatility at 2 p.m. today. All right? I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes here in the room, and I will try to record today's session.